The galaxy once watched over humanity like a fragile, unpredictable child, but today, the universe trembles. After disappearing for 10,000 years, humanity's ancient mentors have finally returned, expecting to find a primitive world still fighting to stand upright. Instead, their colossal ship emerges from hyperspace to discover a galaxy shaped by human hands, space-time highways carved by human engineering, alliances forged through human will, and empires that once answered to these ancient beings now standing quietly under Earth's protection. Their arrival sends a shiver through every star system. These were the architects of human myths, the gods of early civilizations, the whispering teachers who vanished long before humanity molded its first blade of iron. They left behind one promise: when humans grow up, we will return. But what they find now is a silence that feels impossibly heavy. No greetings, no warnings, no defenses raised. Because humanity, older, colder, ascended, has already sensed their arrival. And humanity is simply waiting. As the ancient ship descends toward the Sol system, alien historians across the galaxy whisper the same question: what have the humans become? And when those long-lost mentors finally land on Earth, they understand a truth far more terrifying than any prophecy. Humans didn't just grow up, they surpassed every teacher the galaxy ever had. For 10,000 years, they had been a rumor in human DNA. The first teachers, the sky mentors, the ones who left. Now, their ship tore through hyperspace like a ghost remembering the way home. It was vast and ancient, a cathedral of metal and light, covered in symbols that once burned into the dreams of early humans. Within, a council of luminous, elegant beings floated in orderly formation. The mentors of Orisar, once gods, now nervous. Cross-check coordinates, said High Mentor Sail 2, voice echoing through the chamber. Sol 3, the world of our little project. A junior mentor flickered. Confirmed. Yellow star. Third planet. Status, likely pre-industrial. Expected output: awe, worship, primitive tools, fearful gratitude. Another mentor sighed nostalgically. I miss the spears. Remember spears? So manageable. They all chuckled politely. In the corner, Archivist Lyran shimmered, reviewing old records. Final log from departure. When the humans reach maturity, we shall return and guide them to their rightful place. Sail 2 straightened, halo brightening. Today, we fulfill that promise. We return as patient caretakers to a world still finding its feet. He gestured, and the forward view opened. Space unfolded. Stars wheeled. And in the distance, where one fragile, blue planet should be, there was infrastructure. Lines. Rings. Dim, artificial glows. Lyran's voice cracked. That is not pre-industrial. The ship slowed, emerging into the outskirts of the Sol system. Massive constructs hung in the void, sunlight harvesting arrays, orbital platforms, shimmering networks like spiderwebs of math and audacity. A junior mentor whispered, Hi, mentor. Yes. Sail 2 replied, very calmly. I think the child grew up. They drifted at the edge of the transformed system, wrapped in silence none of them found comfortable. Lyran replayed the last transmission from Earth, flickering it into the chamber. Grainy, distorted visuals from early stone cities. Humans kneeling, hands raised to the sky, crying out in awe as the mentor's ship vanished into orbit. A single line of translation blinked beneath. When we are ready, come back. Sail 2 floated closer. We left them with hope, direction, and a goal. We expected incremental progress. Fire. Bronze. Maybe rudimentary orbitals. Instead we have, Lyran gestured toward live feeds. Multiple megastructures, traffic lanes, energy signatures in. I don't even know that unit. Humans were always enthusiastic, one of the mentors suggested weakly. Another scoffed. They worshipped rocks. They painted on caves. They reverse-engineered our landing gear with rocks, Lyran corrected. That was the first red flag. Silence again. They remembered our promise, Sail 2 said softly. Do you think they remember us kindly? There was a pause. No, murmured one of the senior mentors. They probably remember that we left. Technically, someone else mumbled. We called it strategic withdrawal for their long-term benefit. Ah yes, Lyran said dryly. Parenting by vanishing. Sail 2 watched the human-made constructs. We owe them guidance. We return as mentors, not equals. The ship's AI chimed in for the first time, voice smooth but hesitant. Correction. Sensor data suggests they may interpret mentors as unsolicited consultants. Probability of resentment. Non-trivial. Wonderful, Sail 2 muttered. Even the ship is sarcastic now. He straightened. Regardless, a promise is a promise. Prepare first contact protocols. In the back, one junior mentor whispered to another, "What if they don't need us?" The other replied, "That's impossible." Far ahead, a human-built station quietly rotated, very much disagreeing. The galaxy once watched over humanity like a fragile, unpredictable child, but today, the universe trembles. After disappearing for 10,000 years, humanity's ancient mentors have finally returned, expecting to find a primitive world still fighting to stand upright. Instead, their colossal ship emerges from hyperspace to discover a galaxy shaped by human hands, space-time highways carved by human engineering, alliances forged through human will, and empires that once answered to these ancient beings now standing quietly under Earth's protection. Their arrival sends a shiver through every star system. These were the architects of human myths, the gods of early civilizations, the whispering teachers who vanished long before humanity molded its first blade of iron. They left behind one promise. When humans grow up, we will return. But what they find now is a silence that feels impossibly heavy. No greetings, no warnings, no defenses raised. Because humanity, older, colder, ascended, has already sensed their arrival. And humanity is simply waiting. As the ancient ship descends toward the Sol system, alien historians across the galaxy whisper the same question. What have the humans become? And when those long-lost mentors finally land on Earth, they understand a truth far more terrifying than any prophecy. Humans didn't just grow up. They surpassed every teacher the galaxy ever had. For the first time in millennia, the mentors felt something they had once considered uniquely human. Doubt. They widened the sensor net. What they saw beyond Sol made it worse. Trade lanes spanned nearby star systems, traced in shimmering lines of traffic. Human ships, human codes, human designs layered over countless worlds. Formerly quiet systems now buzzed with communication relays and energy beacons. Check known civilizations, Sail 2 ordered. The AI complied. Cross-referencing. Species, Varan Alliance, previously regional hegemon. Status, currently in cooperative treaty with a polity labeled Terran Accord. Lyran blinked. Humans, allied with the Varans? More accurately, the AI corrected, humans negotiated terms that heavily favor human shipping routes, infrastructural control, and dispute arbitration. The Varans appear, enamored and concerned. A chart expanded, nodes representing empires, alliances, neutral zones. Nearly all of them had one thing in common. Human influence braided through their politics and infrastructure like stubborn vines. One mentor whispered, "They built an interstellar network with no supervision?" Technically, another said, "We supervise by staying away and having faith." "That's not supervision," Lyran hissed. "That's avoiding responsibility." The AI added, "There are also recorded conflicts. Wars. Catastrophes. Recoveries." The humans were busy. Sail 2 stared at the map. "We left intending to return to a single world. Instead, we returned to a civilization woven into the galaxy." A junior mentor tried for optimism. "Perhaps they still see us as legends, as guiding stars." The AI helpfully displayed a human media archive. Titles flickered past. "Ancient aliens were jerks. Why the sky gods abandoned us. We don't need space parents." Lyran winced. "They made documentaries." Sail 2 sighed. "Fine. So maybe we are not the beloved mentors we intended. But we are still older. We still know more." Far away, a human dreadnought slid into frame, effortlessly curving around a gravity while using math Sail 2 did not recognize. Lyran said gently, "Do we?" They tried to hail Earth. At first, they did it grandly. A broad-spectrum broadcast in every ancient frequency they had used before, layered with those old comforting harmonics humans had once associated with miracles. The message was simple. "Children of Earth, your teachers have returned." No response. They narrowed the beam. They spoke in multiple human languages. Old tongues pulled from cave recordings, coastal chants, early city dialects. Descendants of our students. We come in peace. We come to guide you once more. Still nothing. Lyran frowned. Check for technical issues. Is our transmitter functioning? The AI responded. Transmitter optimal. Messages delivered. However, Sil-2 turned. However what? However, the AI continued carefully. All broadcasts are being intercepted by a defensive network labeled Earth Local Space Traffic Management and Hospitality Service. Hospitality? One mentor asked. They welcome us. Not exactly, the AI said. A new transmission arrived. Calm. Clean. In flawless mentor tongue. Unidentified Orisar vessel. The reply said, This is Terran Space Control. Please hold your position. Do not broadcast on legacy intrusion frequencies. Your signal set is classified as emotionally manipulative. Sil-2 choked. Emotionally? Lyran stared. They flagged our miracle tones as spam. Another message followed, this time in modern human English. A woman's voice, polite but firm. Hello, returning unknown. We received your attempts at contact. Earth is busy. We kindly request that you remain in outer holding pattern until proper diplomatic channels are established. Do not panic. Do not interfere with ongoing traffic. And under no circumstances attempt to guide local populations without clearance. The line cut. Silence settled over the council. One of the younger mentors whispered, They put us on hold. For the first time, Sil-2's voice trembled. They're not even impressed. Lyran shook their head slowly. No, they sound tired. And in control. The AI chimed in helpfully. On the bright side, at least they said kindly. That seems promising. No one laughed. Hours ticked by in the great, humming quiet of space. The Orisar ship continued to drift at the edge of the system, surrounded not by fanfare or missiles, but by the bureaucratic equivalent of a please wait sign. Finally, another human transmission arrived. This time, a face appeared, human, middle-aged, with tired eyes and a mug of something steaming in hand. Unidentified Orisar vessel, she said. This is Admiral Riva Ortiz, representing the Terran Accord. You're a little early for the apocalypse or a little late for first contact, depending on your perspective. Sil-2 hastily activated his projection. He appeared as a tall, radiant being with soft features and a slightly smug halo. Children of Earth, he began warmly. We are your ancient mentors. Riva raised a hand. Yeah, about that. We've seen the records. You vanished before we invented indoor plumbing. Sil-2 paused. We granted you space to grow. Riva sipped her drink. You ghosted an entire species. We moved on. Behind her, several human officers could be seen trying not to laugh. Lyran floated into view, shimmering. We return now to complete the work we began. To guide you into the wider galaxy. Riva leaned forward. Respectfully, the wider galaxy filed a complaint about us centuries ago. We're good. One of the younger mentors spluttered. But your development, your spiritual maturity, Look, Riva sighed, setting down her mug. We're happy to talk. We're not happy to be talked down to. You've entered regulated space. You're carrying tech we don't fully understand. And you're broadcasting like it's the Bronze Age. Sil-2 tried for his old, soothing tone. You misunderstand. We seek only to uplift. Pretty sure we're already up, Riva said, glancing at a floating hollow of their Dyson swarm. So here's the plan. You hold orbit. We send an escort. Then we have a conversation like adults. No worship. No kneeling. No sky voice announcements to the entire planet. Sil-2 swallowed. And if we refuse? Riva smiled, but her eyes didn't. Then the most powerful civilization in this region of space will consider you a problem. You don't want to know how we handle problems. The line cut again. Lyran turned slowly. Did the students just give us instructions? Yes, Sil-2 said quietly. Yes, they did. They felt it before they saw it. Gravitational readings shifted. Subtle ripples spread through space-time, like someone flicking a tablecloth the size of a solar system. Then the human fleet arrived. They didn't jump in with a roar. They slid into place. Dozens of ships, then hundreds, blooming into formation around the Orisar vessel with unnerving precision. Sleek hulls, shimmering shields, drive signatures humming with familiar and utterly alien physics. One junior mentor whispered, They built all this without dimensional scaffolding. The AI whispered back, They built half of this by accident and then made it work. On the largest ship, lights flickered as docking lanes opened. Riva's voice returned. Orisar vessel, you are now under protective escort. Please do not attempt to demonstrate superiority, divinity, or miracle-based brand positioning. Our insurance does not cover that anymore. Sail 2 felt his dignity shrivel. We are not a hazard. Everyone thinks that at first, Riva replied. Welcome to human-controlled space. We'll try not to be too disappointing. As the human ships settled into formation, Lyran noticed something odd. Many of the vessels bore mismatched plating, custom modifications, non-standard shapes. Do you see that? Lyran murmured. Standard core designs, but personalized upgrades. They industrialized improvisation. A smaller human craft drifted closer, scanning their hull. Riva added, by the way, our physicists are very excited you exist. They want to meet you. Try not to break their sense of purpose. Sail 2 regained a shred of composure. We look forward to speaking with your scientific class. We can share much. Oh, I don't doubt it, Riva said. Just remember, they're not your students. Not anymore. They're colleagues. Sort of. Aggressively curious colleagues with too much free will. In the council chamber, the mentors exchanged looks. Colleagues, one whispered, as though tasting an unfamiliar word. Outside, the human fleet held position, not threatening, but humming with the quiet power of a civilization that had walked through fire and come out laughing. They weren't invited straight to Earth. First, they were taken to a relay platform orbiting beyond the moon, a neutral zone filled with docking arms and observation decks. Human and alien ships alike cycled through, loading, unloading, negotiating, complaining. The mentors, wrapped in illusion fields, glided into the station's main hall. It was noisy, languages layered over each other. Beings of every shape moved with purpose. Holographic signs flashed. Somewhere, something sizzled with the distinct smell of cooking. Sail 2 whispered, This is the marketplace? Lyra nodded, scanning faces. And a diplomatic hub. And a transit node. And is that a coffee kiosk? They were approached by 3 figures. One human, tall, dark-skinned, wearing a simple jacket lined with tiny, shimmering circuitry. 2 aliens beside her, clearly comfortable and mildly exasperated. Welcome, the human said. I'm Ambassador Nyla Tran. These are my colleagues, Representative Hesh of the Varens and Coordinator Till of the Kethari Union. Hesh, a crystalline being, inclined their angular head. We owe much to the Terrans. Try not to annoy them. It delays trade shipments. Till, a soft, floating ring of light, added. Also, they get very dramatic when disappointed. It is exhausting. Sail 2 blinked. You speak for the galaxy? Nyla smiled slightly. No one speaks for the galaxy. But humans have a loud voice in the room. She studied them. You are smaller than the legends. Lyran bristled. Your legends are inaccurate. Also rude. Nyla laughed. You'll fit right in. Sail 2 drew himself up. We came to fulfill a promise. To help humanity find its rightful place. Newsflash, Nyla said gently. We found one. Lyran interjected. You still need guidance. Your wars, your environmental collapses, your near extinctions. Yeah, Nyla said quietly. We remember all of that. We did that. We survived that. Without you. The words hung there. Hesh chimed in dryly. They're very proud of that part. Till glowed brighter. It is their favorite thing. Survival, stubbornness, improvisation with alarming consequences. Sail 2 felt something crack in his certainty. You do not want us. Nyla shrugged. Want. Maybe. Need. That's a different story. She gestured toward a window. Outside, human ships floated alongside alien ones, exchanging goods and ideas and complaints. You're not too late, Nyla said. You're just not coming back to children. Eventually, permission was granted. Escorted by human vessels, the Orisar ship moved inward, gliding through a ballet of computation and traffic control. Solar sails rippled. Stations rotated. Swarms of tiny drones zipped around like metallic insects with engineering degrees. As they crossed into the heart of the system, a new layer of infrastructure became visible. Vast panels catching sunlight, relay towers embedded in asteroid belts, shimmering lines of data that made Lyran's head hurt. This is no longer a simple star system, Lyran muttered. It is an engineered habitat. Riva's voice came through again. Welcome to Neosol. Please refrain from being offended by any incomplete megastructures. We're in the middle of several extremely ambitious projects. Sail 2 stared at the partial Dyson shell. This level of energy manipulation is irresponsible. Nyla, now visible on their hollow, smirked. Says the species that did unsupervised genetic tinkering with primates and then left. One junior mentor whispered. Did she just clap back? Yes, Lyran sighed. Yes, she did. They passed a ring habitat shaped like a cylinder, interior filled with greenery. Through transparent sections, the mentors saw humans walking, laughing, arguing, carrying boxes, chasing children who clearly had zero respect for gravity, till floated closer in their own small craft, matching velocity. You altered them, they said. You tweaked their DNA. But the rest? The messy, ridiculous, brilliant civilization part? That's all them. Hesh added. They bartered with us before they could reliably count their own limbs. Now they calibrate our reactors. The Orisar hull shuddered faintly as it adjusted to new gravitational gradients. Sail 2 clung to one thought. At least Earth itself must still be familiar. The cradle endures unchanged. The AI gently projected a live image of the planet's surface. Cities glittered, connected by webs of light. Vast oceanic platforms, floating arcologies, climate-managed forests. Not untouched. Not preserved. Transformed. Sail 2's voice went very small. What did you do to their home? Nyla answered, softer now. We kept it alive. The hard way. The landing site wasn't a sacred temple or a perfectly staged ceremony ground. It was a park. The shuttle touched down on a patch of green overlooking a vast, gleaming city that rose in layers, threaded with rivers and light rails and things that defied simple description. Families wandered. Drones carried food. Children played with little floating robots that giggled when they bumped into trees. Sail 2 stepped out. Illusion field gently adjusted to less overwhelming deity, more pleasantly luminous elder. Lyran floated beside him, flickering nervously. Waiting for them were humans, dozens of them. Not in uniforms. In ordinary clothes. Some wore augmented lenses. Some had subtle implants glinting at their necks. A few aliens stood among them, apparently comfortable on this world. One human stepped forward. Gray streaked her hair, but her posture was steady, eyes sharp. On behalf of Earth, she said, welcome back. Sail 2 inclined his shimmering head. You know us. She smiled tightly. My name is Min. I'm descended from one of the first cultures you visited. We kept the stories. Then we dug deeper and found the recordings. The gene logs. The modifications. Her gaze sharpened. You made us smarter. Tougher. Prone to certain curiosities. Then you left. You turned evolution into a homework assignment and walked out of the classroom. Lyran winced. We believed you needed space. Our presence could have distorted your growth. Min's eyes didn't soften. It did anyway. Just in a different direction. Every story of you became a question. Why did they leave? Are we not good enough? Or are we too dangerous? Behind her, a child tugged her sleeve. Mama, are these the rude space grandparents? Later, Min murmured. Sail 2 tried to smile. We see you have prospered despite everything. Min's expression wavered. We prospered because of everything. The plagues, the wars, the extinctions, the rebuilds. We learned to stop waiting for sky people to fix it. For a heartbeat, all their sarcasm fell away. Humanity looked at its architects. The architects looked at their unintended masterpiece. Lyran whispered, we are sorry. Min held his gaze. Good. Now let's see what you actually came back for. They were not taken to a throne room. They were taken to a lab. It looked simple enough at first. White surfaces, glass walls, soft hum of machines. But the readouts told another story. Densities, energy signatures, spatial distortions. Welcome to one of our quieter playgrounds, Min said. We thought it best to show you what we actually are before anyone starts giving speeches about destiny. A human scientist waited inside. Short, messy hair, circles under their eyes, 3 mugs on the table, and a 4th floating near their shoulder. They waved cheerfully. Hi, Dr. Arun. Big fan of your earlier work in accidentally rewriting human neurobiology. Very interesting patch notes. Lyran blinked. You are not angry. Oh, I'm furious, Arun said brightly. But the data is fantastic. They gestured to a containment field. Inside, space seemed to hesitate. Light bent strangely. Sail 2 stared. What is that? Localized probability gradient, Arun said. We borrow some ideas from quantum geometry. Also from sheer stubbornness. Turns out reality can be negotiated with if you're annoying enough. Lyran whispered, "That is not safe." Arun shrugged. "Neither were you. Anyway, you wanted to see what humans became. Here we are." They tapped a control. For a moment, the distortion intensified, then settled. "We can't break the universe," Arun said. "But we can nudge it, bend odds, redirect trajectories, rebuild things that should have been lost." Sale 2 tried to find fault. "You play with powers you don't fully understand." Arun smirked. "So did you. We just read the manual as we went." A young human assistant chimed in. "And sometimes burn the manual. And the lab. And part of the moon. We fixed that." Lyran swallowed. "You changed yourselves as well." Arun nodded. "Mind interfaces. Cognitive expansions. Shared thought spaces. Don't worry, we still argue constantly. We're just faster at it now." Sale 2 felt out of depth. "So you stand here at the edge of what exists, barely constrained, because of us." Min met his gaze. "Because of you. And because of everything you didn't stick around to help with." For the first time, Sale 2 realized they were not here to bestow gifts. They were here to see if they should apologize on their knees. To understand the new hierarchy, the mentors were brought to what humans called the Council of Minds. It was not a council chamber. It was a garden. Towering trees, glowing streams, floating geometric constructs drifting lazily between branches. Benches and stones and little tables with half-finished drinks and snack wrappers. Humans sat or lounged or paced, some physically present, some shimmering with the translucent shimmer of remote projections. Threads of light connected them, thought links, shared channels. As Sale 2 and Lyran entered, the air rippled. A human voice spoke, but not from a single mouth. "Orisar mentors," it said. "Welcome. We are the Accorded Minds. Don't let the peaceful decor fool you. This is where terrible ideas come to argue until someone accidentally improves the universe." A woman with silver eyes smiled. "I'm Layla. I coordinate the shared cognition clusters for infrastructure." A man with old scars and augmented limbs added, "Jiro. Military and emergency response. Don't worry, this meeting is strictly non-lethal." A third figure, flickering between multiple appearances, waved. "We handle diplomacy and cultural preservation. Our name is complicated. Call us K." Sale 2 bowed. "We are honored to meet your leadership." Layla snorted. "We're not a government. We're a badly organized brain with committees." Jiro leaned back. "We're the part of humanity that has to think about consequences. The others get to build weird things and hope we survive." Kay smiled. "You made us clever. You made us curious. You did not make us wise. That took time. And repeated disaster." Lyran asked quietly, "And do you consider yourselves grown?" The minds looked at each other. Layla said, "Grown? No, just farther along." Jiro added, "We're powerful, but we're still us. Still petty. Still stupid sometimes. Just now our mistakes have better graphics." Kay's gaze sharpened. "You came to guide us. We would like to know on what basis you still believe you can." For once, Sale 2 had no easy answer. A tear, in a quiet alcove overlooking the city, Lyran confronted Sale 2. "You know what this is," Lyran said. "We failed them." Sale 2 stared down at the lights of Earth. "We left to avoid dominating them. We feared they would worship us forever. And instead," Lyran replied, "we built a hole inside their history and let it fester." Below, a child on a balcony laughed as a small drone projected constellations around them. They traced shapes with their fingers, inventing new myths. "Our intention," Sale 2 began. Lyran cut him off. "Our intention does not matter. Our absence does." He flared, light spiking. "We are not villains in some crude moral tale. We are ancient custodians who made a difficult choice." "Yes," Lyran said. "We chose the comfortable path. For us." Sale 2 wavered. "You think we should have stayed? Ruled them?" "No," Lyran whispered. "I think we should have stayed and stumbled alongside them. Risked being less than perfect. Risked being wrong out loud." For a long moment, neither spoke. Then a human voice drifted from behind them. "Welcome to the club," Min said. They turned. She leaned on the railing, gaze on the city. "We made a lot of choices that looked noble at the time. Later, history disagreed." Sale 2's halo dimmed. "We are sorry." Min's jaw clenched. "Good. Hold on to that. Because when word of your return spreads, you're going to meet people who don't want your glowy apologies." They want to know why they had to survive alone. Lyran dared ask, "And what do you want, Min?" She exhaled. "I want you to understand that whatever you thought you were to us, you'd better adjust downwards." She looked at them, eyes tired but bright. "You're not our gods, Orisar. You're just very old relatives with questionable parenting skills." Sale 2, for once, had nothing to argue with. In a vast archive chamber, humans and mentors walked through history together. Walls shimmered with timelines, wars, revolutions, disasters, breakthroughs. Neither linear nor neat. A branching, snarling, looping mess. Arun narrated. Here, first global network. Here, first near extinction. Here, the time we almost boiled the oceans. Here, the time we almost froze them. Very productive centuries. Lyran shuddered. You dance so close to oblivion. Repeatedly, Arun agreed. Sometimes for fun. Sometimes by accident. We're working on that. They paused at a node labeled the Great Divergence. Images bloomed. Humans leaving Earth in fragile ships, then faster ships, then stranger ones. Some stayed home. Some altered themselves. Some rejected technology altogether. Cultures splintered, recombined, reinvented. This is where we stopped waiting for something to save us, Arun said, and started building systems that might. Sale 2 watched countless faces pass by. We thought you would either stagnate or destroy yourselves without us. Arun arched an eyebrow. That says a lot about your faith. Lyran murmured. We underestimated your capacity for adaptation and overestimated our importance, Sale 2 added quietly. Along one branch, they saw early human contact with other alien species, not as awestruck primitives, but as desperate explorers, bargaining with what little they had. First contact with the Varans, Arun said. They thought we were ridiculous. We thought they were snobs. Then we accidentally fixed one of their reactor designs with duct tape and a bad idea. The projection showed humans huddled in a hangar, arguing. One slapped a patch onto a reactor. It stopped exploding. The Varan engineers stood there in stunned silence. That was the moment. Arun smiled faintly. We realized no one knew what they were doing. Not really. Not even the old, shiny ones. They looked at Sale 2. Not even you. Sale 2's shoulders sagged. We left thinking you were fragile. You became terrifyingly resilient instead. Lyran sighed. You became yourselves. Eventually, it was humanity's turn to show off. In another lab, larger, heavily shielded, full of redundancies that screamed, we have made mistakes before. The mentors watched humans prepare a demonstration. Jiro stood with arms crossed. Okay, ground rules. No one panics. No one screams. If anything begins to hum in a way that feels personal, take 3 steps back. Sale 2 eyed the central device. What does it do? Arun grinned. Simple. It negotiates a local rewrite of cause and effect for about half a second. Simple. Lyran squeaked. We used to call it luck bomb. We've improved since then. They activated the device. There was no dramatic flare. Reality wobbled. For a heartbeat, probability spiked and crashed. Projectiles on a test range missed targets they should have hit, and hit ones they had no right to touch. A coin flipped in a sealed container landed on its edge and stayed there. A simulated gravitational field hiccuped and reasserted itself at a slightly kinder trajectory. Then everything settled. The diagnostic screens updated with smug little checkmarks. Sale 2 whispered, You altered outcomes. Arun nodded. We can't force the universe. We can nudge. Convince it that certain paths are cleaner, more elegant, or occasionally funnier. Lyran's glow flickered in agitated patterns. If misused, this could destroy everything? Yeah, Jiro said. That's why we don't let just anyone near it. We have councils, safeguards, protocols, annoying, endless meetings. Sale 2 stared. You wield power on par with our greatest works, and you restrain yourselves? Jiro gave him a long look. You ever live through a disaster you caused, and then have to rebuild from the bones? After a few of those, restraint starts sounding pretty good. Arun turned to the mentors. You taught us to reach. The rest? The falling. The getting back up. The deciding what not to touch again. That's ours. For the first time, Sale 2 felt a strange, unfamiliar emotion toward his former students. Respect. In a quieter chamber, the mentors finally spoke their side. Nyla, Min, Arun, and a few accorded minds listened as Sail 2 projected images of the past, an older galaxy, younger, more volatile. Civilizations rising and collapsing under their own hubris. Species warped by well-meaning interventions. We were not your first mentors, Sail 2 admitted. We were late to wisdom, early to meddling. Lyran added. We uplifted others before you, tried to accelerate their progress. They broke themselves against the speed of it. Arun frowned. You mean, you made super geniuses with toddler emotional regulation? Yes, Lyran said. And when they imploded, we told ourselves it was their fault. Then we found your world. You were clever, emotional, furious at the sky. Sail 2's light dimmed. We saw potential. We also saw risk. So we adjusted. Gently. Or so we thought. That was our rationalization. In truth, we were playing again. Nyla's voice went cold. And when it felt too familiar, you ran. Sail 2 flinched. We left to avoid becoming tyrants. To avoid the pattern. To see if you could grow without us. Min's jaw tightened. You didn't trust yourselves. And you didn't trust us. Correct, Sail 2 said quietly. Kay, flickering nearby, spoke. Fear of your own corruption. Fear of our potential. So you chose absence. Lyran nodded. We told ourselves it was noble. It was cowardice. Silence settled. Arun tapped their mug. You could have come back sooner. Checked in. Sent a message that wasn't divine theatrics. We were afraid of what we'd find, Sail 2 admitted. Afraid you would hate us. Or worse, didn't need us. Nyla exhaled slowly. Congratulations. You were right on at least one of those. Yet behind the brittle anger, something shifted. The mentors had stopped performing. Humans had stopped posturing. For the first time, everyone in the room was just flawed. News of the Orisar return spread faster than any official statement. Human networks buzzed. Alien forums lit up. The phrase "Sky Parents are back" trended for 17 minutes before being crushed by think pieces like "We should bill them" and "Therapy for species with abandonment issues." In one public forum, Sail 2 and Lyran agreed to answer questions. It did not go gently. A middle-aged human in a simple shirt appeared on the holo. My people had a prophecy, they said, that you'd come back when we were worthy. We sacrificed, obeyed, prayed. You never came. We built our entire culture around waiting. Sail 2's light dimmed. We did not intend. But you did it, the human interrupted. We tore ourselves apart trying to be good enough for ghosts. Another joined, a scientist from a colony world. You tweaked our curiosity, boosted our intelligence. Did you engineer our anxiety too? Or was that a bonus? Lyran winced. Side effect. Great, the scientist said. We'll send you the invoice. More voices. More stories. Religions built around absence. Empires justified using the promise of return. Children staring at empty skies. You can't fix any of this with apologies, Min murmured later. Sail 2 nodded miserably. We know. What you can do, Kay said, is stop pretending you're above us in this. You messed up. We messed up. Welcome to parody. Layla, from the mines, smiled faintly. We don't need perfect mentors. We need very patient, very honest friends who admit when they broke something. Lyran managed a weak joke. We broke an entire species' concept of worth. Does that qualify as something? Jiro snorted. Oh yeah, big time. In the end, no absolution came. But a new word began popping up in human discussions, accountability. And, awkwardly, the Orisar tried to learn it. In a joint summit, held not in some cosmic palace, but in a very overworked conference habitat, humans, aliens, and mentors sat around digital tables and argued about paperwork, till floated above a projection. If we recognize the Orisar as a return power, they gain influence. Hesh clicked irritably. Influence they do not deserve. Their legacy is spotty. Nyla rubbed her temples. They have knowledge. We have power. The question is, how do we mix those without causing a universal migraine? Sail 2 spoke carefully. We propose an advisory role. We will share what we know, answer questions, offer warnings. No direct control. No unilateral interventions. Jiro eyed him. You're volunteering to be the galaxy's very old, very haunted Wikipedia. If that metaphor is non-insulting, Sail 2 said uncertainly. It is mildly insulting, Till said. Which means it is accurate. Kay leaned forward. Humans have a reputation. Resourceful. Dangerous. Loyal in strange ways. If we formally acknowledge you as a central stabilizing force, we change the balance. Balance is already changed, Hesh muttered. We pretended it wasn't. That was comforting. Comfort is over. Arun raised a hand. We never wanted to be in charge of everything. We just kept filling in gaps where everyone else had given up. Layla added, we're tired. We'd like someone else to triple-check our terrible ideas before we build them. Lyran brightened faintly. We are very experienced in terrible ideas. Sold, Jiro said. They argued over charters. Veto power. Limitations. The right to say no to dangerous tech. The right to say yes to radical solutions. In the end, a loose agreement formed. Humans would stop trying to fix everything alone. The Orisar would stop pretending they knew best. Everyone else would stop acting like spectators. It wasn't a grand, triumphant contract. It was messy, which made it feel oddly promising. On the last day before the Orisar ship prepared to move on, Sail 2 stood once more in the park where they had first landed. Children played around him, now mostly bored of the shiny sky person and deeply invested in a game involving levitating discs and yelling. Min approached with 2 steaming cups. I asked an old family recipe AI to guess what you'd like, she said, handing him one. It suggested something warm and confusing. Sail 2 took the cup. Appropriate. He watched a little boy urge his alien friend higher on a hovering platform, both shrieking with delight. We expected your hatred, Sail 2 admitted. Your rejection. Min shrugged. We were angry. We are angry. Some people will never forgive you. That's their right. And you? He asked. She hesitated. I spent years researching you, cursing you. Then I realized every terrible thing that came from your absence was also tied to 1,000 beautiful things that only exist because we had to grow on our own. She glanced at him. You didn't deserve that outcome. We didn't deserve what you did. Everyone got more than they bargained for. Sail 2 sighed. We have much to atone for. Sure, Min said. Start by listening. Then maybe share what you know without turning it into destiny. He studied her face. The lines of exhaustion, of love, of 1,000 difficult choices. You are kinder than we deserved, he said. She snorted. No, we're just too tired to keep hating ghosts forever. A little girl ran up, eyes bright. Are you leaving? Yes, Sail 2 said gently. We have others to speak to, mistakes to fix. She frowned. Will you come back? He hesitated. If you want us to. She considered this gravely, then nodded. Okay, but next time, don't be weird. Min laughed. Sail 2, for the first time in millennia, did too. The Orisar ship rose from Earth's atmosphere in a slow, steady climb. From orbit, Neo's soul glittered, a testament to human stubbornness, grief, joy, and pettiness welded into a working system. In the council hall, the mentors gathered. We came expecting to be needed, Lyran said. We leave knowing we are optional. And yet, Sail 2 added, we also leave knowing we might still be useful. They watched as messages from across the galaxy pinged in. A young species asking for help designing non-terrible education systems. A coalition of worlds inviting Orisar observers and human engineers to co-review dangerous tech. A Varan scientist requesting a joint paper titled, Please don't do this, but if you do, here's how to survive it. Sail 2 smiled. We are no longer the first word on anything. Lyran nodded. But we can help keep the last word from being oops. Outside, human ships accompanied them to the system's edge before peeling away. On one channel, Riva appeared one last time. For what it's worth, she said, thanks for the initial boost. The rest, we'll handle from here. Sail 2 bowed. You already have. Nyla's voice cut in. If you run into any other ancient meddlers out there, tell them this. The kids are doing fine, and we'll be checking their work. Kay added. Also, if you find anyone worse than us, maybe give us a heads up. We will, Sail 2 promised. As hyperspace prepared to unfurl around them, Lyran asked, do you think we've truly grown to? Sail 2 considered. Humans, he said, showed us what it means to admit failure and keep going anyway. If that is growth, then perhaps we have begun. The ship leapt into the between places, carrying ancient beings newly humbled, bearing the story of a small, terrifying species that refused to stay in its assigned role. Across the galaxy, one truth quietly updated itself. The students had not only surpassed the teachers, they had invited them to learn as well.